What's your name?
Yancy.
This is Yancy Noll, one of Seattle's residents. He works at KFC. He's a specialist in various wines, sometimes with his girlfriend, sometimes with his dog, and sometimes alone. He goes birdwatching.
We're jumping, right?
Yep, we're jumping.
Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah!
These are the pieces of information we currently possess about this 42-year-old man. However, there's one more crucial detail we also know about him. On the 31st of August, in the year 2012, exactly 10 minutes after he had left his workplace and started driving his old Subaru towards his home, he came to a complete stop at a red traffic light. A silver Z4 then pulled up right beside him, and as soon as Yancy turned his head, he was shot and killed with 4 bullets. Those present at the scene heard the gunshots and immediately fled. They also managed to get a glimpse of the killer. One witness even attempted to pursue him but was unable to catch up. He only caught a glimpse of the driver's face, in profile, and with the assistance of the police, he drew this sketch of the killer's face. The police, following their inspection of the accident scene, stated in their report that the victim's car windows were already down. The shooter, remaining behind the steering wheel, fired 5 shots without even lowering the passenger side window. While the first shot went wide, the remaining round struck the victim directly in the temple. This suggests the killer was most likely trained. Now, Seattle police have a brief security camera image to solve this case, a sketch of the killer's profile, and a silver Z4 with its passenger side window shattered. This information was circulated throughout the region so that, besides the officers, the public would also know the details and help solve this case. 2 weeks passed. On September 14th, a woman called the police to report something suspicious. In her opinion, the drawing was of a man named Dean Bowman, whose house was less than 10 blocks from the scene of the incident. Everything, from his hairstyle to his facial bone structure, perfectly matched the painting. However, Dean was the most improbable suspect in this entire case. He was a brilliant 29-year-old engineer who had entered college at the remarkably young age of 12, established his own thriving business by the time he was 20, and possessed a truly impressive portfolio of numerous diverse inventions. In 2007, at an educational seminar, he became acquainted with a woman named Jennifer Paul, a highly successful and renowned dentist. They tied the knot just 1 year later. These are the details we currently know about Dean Bowman. However, there's one additional detail. Dean's car was a silver BMW Z4. Police watched his house for several days, but there was no sign of his car until September 21st. A garage door opened slightly, and it became clear the car had been in the garage the whole time. The officers immediately obtained a search warrant for the house, and while Dean and Jennifer were at work, they towed the car from the parking lot for further investigation. Now it was time to interrogate the main suspect in the case. Consequently, Dean Bowman was arrested that same evening and transferred to the interrogation room.
So you know, this is a police facility and everything is being recorded, okay? I'll just let you know that.
The police left the suspect completely alone in the interrogation room for approximately 2 hours. We've encountered this classic technique many times before in similar cases, and we've discussed it in great detail. The interrogator's primary goal is to push the subject through a prolonged delay right to the very edge of their emotional tolerance, and then, with just a small nudge, extract a confession from them. Many times, this approach actually proves quite effective, but in this particular instance, the situation is entirely different. He kept himself occupied throughout this period by consuming drinks and snacks, and was even audacious enough to tell the officers that they were simply wasting his valuable time.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So, kind of getting a little annoyed at how long this is taking.
I'm sorry. It has to take as long as it takes. Okay.
Do you want to talk to a lawyer, or you want to talk to us first?
No, I guess I'd like to talk to a lawyer.
Dean very quickly understood that having a lawyer present, one who is well versed in the law and provides minimal information to the investigators, was far more sensible than trying to contend with law enforcement officers. However, what the subject remains unaware of is that the investigators already possess a significant amount of evidence against him.
You're going to be charged with a crime.
Of what?
Murder.
Of what? Of who?
Murder of a human being.
Okay.
It's not difficult to analyze this young man's behavior and his body language. He's completely self-assured, maintaining direct eye contact and confidently questioning the interrogators. He provides no additional information, but instead demands clear explanations. Now, in this very situation, as he's being formally charged, he's completely unaware that in the adjacent room, his wife, Jennifer, is also undergoing a separate interrogation. Before we delve into Jennifer's interrogation, I want to mention this important detail. According to people close to them, not only were they romantically involved, but they were also incredibly close and truly understood one another. Both of them were also highly intelligent individuals. Although Jennifer, just like her husband, didn't request a lawyer, she too, in her own unique way, chose a rather interesting method to evade the police. The investigators themselves titled this video "The Interrogation Room." I'm not entirely certain about that.
Have you heard of any murders like within a few blocks of your house?
in the last few weeks?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure? It's a yes or no question.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
So your honesty right now is paramount.
I understand. I'm not sure what I can tell you.
The paint smell that we're smelling in there.
I'm not sure.
Do you know anything that goes on in your house?
Jennifer is completely unaware of two very important details. The first crucial detail is that the police have already identified Dean's car, and the second important point is regarding this specific mark. The officers, after carefully examining this mark, realized the passenger side window had been replaced. We know, right? The killer shot the victim from behind the wheel while the window was up. Police also found some broken glass next to the seat during the car's inspection. The officers who took the car to the garage mentioned a paint smell in their report. Apparently, the car's rims had changed color and turned black.
Do you understand how serious this is right now, Jennifer?
I have told you the truth.
Jennifer might have been unaware of the murder plot, but since she went to Portland with her husband after the incident, she likely became aware of what happened. The story she tells about the Portland trip is this. She claims on September 1st, the day after the incident, she traveled to Portland with her husband. Just as they stopped for lunch, their car was broken into. That's also the reason the car's window was broken. Then they went somewhere to have the window replaced. Police, upon inspecting Jennifer's belongings, realized she was concealing something very important. Receipts from the restaurant and the repair shop clearly show they first replaced the window, then around 7 p.m., they went to the restaurant. The next point concerns their second trip, which occurred 3 weeks later. They decided to go north of Seattle and there exchange the car's expensive tires for a more affordable model.
Why'd you go to Portland?
It was just a little day trip, a little road trip.
What time of day was the window broken?
We found it in the afternoon.
At approximately what time?
It was right after we ate lunch.
Why did you get new tires?
I'm not sure. I
Were the
assume
other ones wore out?
I'm not sure.
What if we put you on a polygraph test today?
You'd fail it like a sack of potatoes. I mean, I can tell you're lying just looking at you.
Jennifer and Dean's demeanor in the interrogation room is quite different. While Dean, on his side, remains calm and displays self-confidence, Jenny appears visibly anxious, actively avoiding eye contact with the interrogators, and this behavior has certainly raised the suspicions of the police. It seems this particular interrogation session extended for a full 4 hours, though the complete video footage is not available, or at least I haven't been able to locate it. But there's a very important section where the interrogator puts aside classic techniques and tricks, and when he sees the subject wavering, he drops all pretense and goes for the jugular.
You're a good person. Don't let him do this to you.
He might be nice to you, but we've gotten tips on him. Why do you think we've been watching your house for the last couple weeks?
And for you to say you don't know, it defies any kind of logic I can ever think of. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I'm tired of you sitting there playing dumb. You're a smart woman trying to be the good wife and protecting this guy, okay? When he's out friggin' murdering people, okay? This guy died, okay? He bled all over the frickin' streets of Seattle, okay? He's dead. He's got women, he's got a girlfriend, he's got family, and they all frickin' cry every day. We've had them in this very same room. This very same room. You're gonna sit in here and protect him? That is sick. That is sick. That is disgusting. And I'm disgusted by it. You need to grow up, lady. You need to grow up. Take a stand.
Cry.
I feel like I'm about to, but...
Well, then cry and tell us the truth.
I cry easily.
Tell us the truth. Tell me the truth right now.
I have told you the truth.
We proved you wrong already. We're going to prove you wrong more.
Once the interrogation concluded, officers proceeded to the suspect's residence to further their investigation. The house was completely empty. There was no furniture, no bed, just a single mattress and a few other miscellaneous items scattered on the floor. The only items recovered from the house and added to the case as evidence were a few weapons and some ammunition, though not the 9mm firearm the police had been searching for. 4 months later, Dean's first court hearing was finally held. The bail that was set for his temporary release was approximately $10 million, which was a staggering amount that Dean was absolutely unable to pay. According to the official reports that have been released to the public, this young man showed absolutely no signs of remorse or fear during the trial, and just like in the interrogation room, he behaved in a completely calm and self-righteous manner throughout the proceedings. The ongoing police investigation led them to Dean Bowman's personal computer. There were numerous videos of driving practice, stunt work, and professional marksmanship. However, a particular video featuring a firearms expert drew the police's keen interest. This clip precisely mirrored the sequence of events that occurred on the day of the incident. Dean, because he was so focused on following the instructional video exactly, he didn't even roll down the passenger side window. We're
going to talk about shooting through glass. I've come into a situation where I feel threatened by somebody off to my passenger side. Of course, I recognize, I come down, I grip, I cross parallel, extend, touch, press.
With the addition of this video to the rest of the evidence, almost all questions in this case were answered, except for one: the motive for the murder. The prosecutor's assessment was that Bowman woke up one morning and after all his training and preparation told himself, "Today is the day," and then probably committed this crime for the experience of a great thrill. That's why he did this in broad daylight, so there would be witnesses, a chase would take place, he'd escape, and eventually be forced to hide his car, thereby bringing the excitement to its highest level. Another interesting part of this case is hundreds of phone calls from Dean to his wife Jennifer, which, according to investigators, they've never heard from any prisoner.
Bunny, how are you? I'm doing good. How's my little snuggle cake? I just wrote you an email. Yay. I miss so many things right now. I know. I don't have a snuggles. You don't have a snuggle plum next to you. I'm just going to say love, 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 love. Love, 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 love. Oh, little snuggles. I'm a bunny, you're my snugsy hot top. Love, 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 you're my upper, I'm your bunsy hot, and we cuddle. Yeah. Yeah. I love you, little sweetheart bunny bun.
As these two were talking on the phone together, case investigators, to gather more evidence, continued their probe of the suspect's computer. Dean had many films, videos, and books on his system about one specific topic: murder. He also had a strong obsession with this man.
James Bond.
Police, after hacking Dean's personal computer, realized he accessed his system right after the incident. In a folder filled with books on weapons and murder, he had looked at this specific book, a book containing crucial information about arrest procedures. Like how to properly hide a murder, how to effectively get rid of the weapon, and what to do with the bullet's remaining fragments. It appears that reading these specific materials prompted the subject to consider eliminating even the most minute pieces of evidence related to the crime. For instance, the primary reason for replacing the vehicle's tires was his perception during the escape that his tire marks had been imprinted upon the asphalt surface. Consequently, a few days following the incident, he not only replaced the tires but also applied a coat of black paint to the rims, ensuring their appearance would be distinctly different from their original state. Although the weapon was ultimately never found, likely due to the manual's instructions, with the addition of an old car tire, shooting competition videos, and stunt footage to the case file, the police had enough evidence against Bowman to accuse him in court of Yancy Noll's murder.
Please rise. Court is now in session.
We are ready to begin opening statements.
Let's pay attention to Dean's changed appearance in court. He now looks like a polite 13-year-old student. And it's interesting to note that a defendant's change of appearance in court is not an uncommon occurrence. Many try to influence the judge's verdict by adding a touch of innocence to their face.
It was just this crazy bad dream, and I was running from a monster. There was sort of a stream of swearing. I think the phrase that caught my attention was, "You better learn how to drive that fancy car, boy, or you're gonna get yourself up." And it was that point when I got wham. Yeah, I would describe it as just like violent hatred that you would I had only seen in the movies.
Did you think it was possibly a gun?
Yeah.
Dean told the court a new version of the incident to defend himself. He said he had a verbal altercation with the victim on the way. As soon as they reached the red light and stopped, Yancy threw a wine bottle at him, which hit him directly in the head. Fearing the other person might also have a weapon, he preempted and, in fear for his life, shot first.
What he's really saying is that I was just defending myself.
If I didn't do something right then, I was going to die.
There's a lot of contradiction
I remember
in these statements.
opening my eyes, seeing that I had the gun in my hand, and I had just dropped the gun and stepped on the gas.
You intentionally shot him?
Yes.
Was it your intent to kill him?
No.
First, the accused claims that after fleeing the scene of the incident, he discarded the wine bottle, the weapon, and other items. Yet, he possesses a high level of intelligence and surely knows that this very evidence would actually help make his story more believable. Then he states that he didn't shoot with the intent to kill, even though everyone knows he is a professional marksman. It's highly improbable that he would have aimlessly shot someone in the temple 4 times. The prosecutor, in 3 sessions, completely dismissed this fabricated story that Dean, with his lawyer's assistance, had constructed over 2 years. Now, hearing the phone conversation between the defendant and his wife, as they consoled each other after the court hearing, clarifies the situation somewhat.
Seems ridiculous. It is pretty ridiculous. They can't prove premeditation.
Wait, people actually thought their case was right? Was actually legitimate? I mean, you could take anything that the prosecutor said.
I know.
Every single statement was fabricated. Here comes a fact. Yep, that's fabricated. Here comes a detail. Yep, that's inaccurate. I feel like I could be a prosecutor against myself and play a much better job of it.
I know, sweetheart.
Hey, that's so little cupcake. It made me think of cupcakes. Yep, little pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie. Sugar muffin cake. Sugar muffin cake. Pumpkin pie. Little cupcake.
Just 24 hours after this phone call, the final verdict was handed down. On December 9, 2014, Dean Bowman was sentenced to 29 years and 1 month in prison with absolutely no chance of parole. Let's once again pay close attention to the defendant's changed expression and demeanor.
And all I could ask is for your mercy and for your help.
Jennifer, who never attended any of her husband's court sessions, after some time, she completely changed her identity, then filed for divorce, and embarked on a brand new existence, permanently severing all ties that connected her to her past relationship, to the man she had once deeply loved, forever.